Hello everyone and welcome to another cast by the SC Chronicles. As always, Truth here with.
Arby3K.
So this is this little information video we thought we'd make just before StarCraft2 launches. As we all know, it's going to open up tomorrow at midnight because we all know we're going to buy them at midnight. We can't wait for the morning. We got to play all night.
We're total nerds. The second the game launches, we are buying it.
So this, in the background, we'll just play a little video of me and Arby playing a 2 vs 2. This was our first game back when beta phase restarted.
Yeah, beta phase 2. This is 0.19.
If you know the patch numbers, but we're not too worried about the patch numbers anyway. So in this game, we used TLOs and Liquid Jinro's little strategy of Terran feeding Protoss to see if we could actually pull it off, and it was much easier than we thought it would be.
Yeah, exactly. Pulling this off was kind of fun, actually. We got Truth here basically going all Terran all the time, and double expanding, sending me tons of money, me making about 1 billion gateways, and pumping out units. It was pretty awesome. But anyways, enough about the game, because the game isn't really what's important right now. We just want to talk about the game in general, StarCraft.
So the races, most of it has been defined. The game is going to be launched, and then a lot of people have been complaining that Zerg isn't defined enough. Their units aren't new and fresh enough, and just they're too bland. A lot of people have been complaining.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that, the whole blandness of Zerg. Like we've been discussing a while ago, me and Truth, it's just the fact that with Zerg, when you look at their unit composition and what they can make, it just feels like you pick one type of unit, and you just mass that unit. You might make a little bit of mix, Roach Hydra mix or something like that. But generally, most of the time, what you're doing is just picking one tech tree, sticking to it, and just kicking ass, and you don't really have a mix and match of units.
Yeah, and then the Zerg caster, the Infestor, has been taking a lot of heat with its infested Terran ability and this neural parasite. The neural parasite, I think, needs to be changed back to some other type of mode. That 15 or 12 seconds, whatever it mind controls for, just seems so short. Like if you're watching the games with TLO and Idra on the day 9 King of the Beta, Idra does pull out some Infestors. Don't want to spoil too much for anyone, but it just seems like they just weren't good enough, and they didn't mind control for long enough to really that advantage to take effect for the Zerg team.
Yeah, exactly. I think totally just moving back to the old way that the Infestors were, where they mind control indefinitely, or even going to the point where they mind control until they run out of energy. That would make changing the tide of battle with the Infestors that much more important and that much more easier to do. And it's something that I think they should think about before before multiplayer starts going into the full on full on competitive mode.
Yeah, then also the other infested Terran ability from the Infestor, I haven't really been abused by it, so I don't really know how it would feel for like 8 Infestors to just spawn a whole bunch of infested Terrans and just scoot away and then spawn 8 more somewhere else, because really you can snipe them, you can EMP them with your Terran, and you can get Banshees out and just find them and snipe them with cloaked Banshees. And the same thing with Protoss, you can get your High Templars and feedback them, or you can just not let them in your base with a few photon cannons.
Yeah, that's true. Like you can keep the Infestors from coming into your base with a couple well-placed photon cannons, some missile turrets, and some well-placed units. But the thing is, the fact of the matter remains that these units are basically cloaked most of the time, and they can basically shit on anything at any time. It's a full army that comes out. I think it's an ability that just needs a little bit of tweaking. Maybe make the infested Terrans worth a little bit more so they're not overused. Because I know what Blizzard's trying to do is make the units that they try, all the abilities and everything, something that most players will use, the pro players will use in their pro games, the average player will use in his average games. But when you start overusing ability, it just becomes, I don't want to say OP because that word is thrown around too much, but it becomes something that not everyone likes and not everyone appreciates at all.
Yeah, like Storm has found a very nice balance, I think. Like the Photon Sonic Storm, no one's really complaining that it's too strong. A lot of Protoss players are saying that it's not big enough and it's not as cool as the former Storm and back in Brood War when the Storm was massive and just engulfed an area. But I still think with the way the maps are designed right now and the way that the battles play out, the Storm is working to the way that they want it to work.
Yeah, exactly. I haven't played Brood War, so I don't know exactly how the High Templar, I haven't played Brood War that much, so I don't know exactly how the High Templar's Storm was in comparison to the High Templar Storm of this game, StarCraft 2. But you gotta remember, these are two different games. They tried something different. I personally love the High Templar Storm now because it requires you to aim your Storm properly. If you misclick or click off from the army, your Storm isn't gonna do any damage. So might as well micro units properly and be able to use it. I like the High Templars exactly like they are. Maybe give them, I don't know. I don't think they need any buffs.
Yeah, Protoss and Terran have been on the more good end of player criticism, saying that the especially Terrans are known to be the most polished and the most refined for the StarCraft 2 launch. But then again, it is their campaign, so they probably will have the most work put into them. But then it's an RTS game. You want three races, and all three should be balanced and new. And Terran been taking a lot of heat, saying they're kind of OP and they have a lot of strategies behind them. Like the only Terran unit you can really think about that kind of gets phased out during the late game is the Reaper. But even then, the Reaper can be used, but just very delicately.
Yeah, the Reapers, again, late game, maybe you won't be massing them or anything like that. For early game, for harass, and for kind of mid-early game, for scouting, they're great units. So Terran, I think, uses almost all their units all the time. Ultralisks, on the Zerg side of things, not so much. I've seen them in a couple pro games now that they've been when there's a huge army coming their way. But in general army composition, Ultralisks never come up. With Protoss, you get mostly almost all the units produced. Sometimes with the exception of the Phoenix, actually, which I would really love for it to have its overcharge ability back, because we were watching a video just a couple days ago of them showing Protoss again. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, if anyone's rewatch those old videos before beta was launched of how StarCraft was supposed to look like, the siege tanks looking like squids, and Phoenix had the overcharge ability, and the mothership was just massively, it was just awesome. Yeah, the vortex that just destroyed units, the planet cracker, and the time bomb.
I honestly, bring back the planet cracker for the mothership. I'm a Protoss player. I want that ability. That thing is so kick-ass.
Yeah, but even now the mothership does have a cool ability. It's kind of a oversized arbiter the way that they have it right now. Stasis field kind of got changed into the black hole or vortex, whatever it's called right now, and it has got mass recall, which was like the old recall, but you get more than 12 units.
Yeah, exactly. You can actually warp in your whole army whenever you feel like it. But the thing is, the mothership I think is a little bit overpriced for what it does sometimes. Because yeah, sure, it gives you a cloaking field and everything, but it's a weak unit. I wish that they would do a little bit of changes to it to make it something that seems more viable in the late game. But whatever, it's one of those things where they can keep tweaking it and someone will keep complaining about it.